It's me again. Picked up my rock sliders, or had them delivered. UPS graciously delivered them the other night. I'm going to do a little short clip on the rock sliders. Never had a set of rock sliders on a side-by-side before. One, they look cool. Two, they'll help you slide over the rocks. I've already opened this one up. I've already put one on. Not a very good picture of it. If the production team had a better understanding of how to work the camera, maybe we could get a close-up on it. That's later. I got the rock sliders laid out here. Very simple. My 9-year-old could almost do it. Unless I'm missing something out of the box where I've scattered everything over the garage. Man, a 3/8 ratchet. A 16, 13 mil socket, and a 45 Torx bit. Of course, you've got the rock slider itself right here, and right there where my toe is, that is Wildcat refers to as a hanger. I'll call it a wedge. I'll show you a close-up of that after a while. And then the top side of the bracket that the cradles in top of the frame. I'm going to show some pictures, a little video of how I get each one of those in there. Sleek design, quality, sturdy. Looking forward to getting them on there if nothing else, because it'll look cool. Get some things set up here and I'll take another shot. I'll be back with you in just a minute. It's me again. Okay, fairly simple instructions on the installation of this. There's a couple of things that I added to the instructions that some may want to do, some may not. I just found it to be a little bit easier. One of the things that is in the instructions, there's a bolt goes through the floorboard right there, and that goes through the top side of the frame. If you'll see that little shadow right there where my little nubby finger is, that is the cross member. That top bracket I mentioned a while ago, it will go in between the floorboard and the top of that frame. Something else, this was not in the instructions. I call it one of my things, I don't know, but the skid plate, that's the first thing you do is remove the skid plate. 10, 12 bolts, whatever it was. It's the size of a half a sheet of plywood. It's just awkward. Obviously it's not heavy. It's just laying on your back, looking up, trying to get them out. It's just a little cumbersome, if you will. There's a bolt that goes right here and another one right back there. Back those bolts out. If you take them out, not the end of the world. Back them out, because right below each one of them is a dimple for a bolt that goes through the bottom that catches the skid plate. The dimple, even though it's a factory dimple that they put in for production, makes it a little bit easier, gives that inner fender well a little bit of flexibility to get that screw out easy and slide that skid plate out. Again, I don't know if it's a must-have, but definitely something I've done that I'm satisfied that I did. What else? Let's see. The instructions mention, it start talking about the hanger and the frame tube, this little rubber plug right here. It's very much like what you would see on the front of a bumper, where they just plug the pipe and make it look cleaner. You pop that out, it makes room for the hanger. It's me again. Kind of a bad deal on the shadow here. Once again, the production team has greatly failed me. The plug I was mentioning earlier that seals the frame tube. Need to remove that. I've got screwdrivers probably too big. Too busy. I'll have to get on the writer's next for a bad script. Remove that plug. This may be common in the ATV side-by-side world. I've never seen one. I think it's pretty slick. They refer to it as a hanger. I'll call it a wedge. Slide that in the end of the frame tube. Now, according to the instructions, you need the bottom of this bracket is parallel with the ground. as you can get it. No, I'm not going to put a level on it. My great eyes will plumb it. 16 millimeter. You can go ahead and lock this down, provided you've got it at least close to being parallel with the ground. I don't know if you can over torque these things or not. I put the other side on earlier and it's snugged up real good. I guess if it comes off, you'll know it. And that's it for the hanger on the frame tube. It's me again. The production team has graciously set up the camera inside of the floorboard of my trail. I'm going to install the top hanger bracket I mentioned earlier that goes over the frame. The instructions just show a nice tight little picture of how this cradles on top of the frame. It doesn't show you how to get it in the frame, to the top side of the frame. I took one out earlier and I was able to get a pry bar between the floorboard and the frame from the bottom side and pry the floorboard up enough where it popped out. Not as easy as I thought it would have been. Not complicated, not hard, but still, there's more than one way. So I'm rewriting the instructions for Wildcat. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. Here's my top bracket. This elongated hole right here. Elongated. Just don't ask me how to spell it. It sits down on top of the frame just like that. The elongated hole needs to be pointed to the outside of the machine, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. I'm laying a glove inside here just so I don't monkey up my plastic. Again, if you want to do this from the bottom side, each their own. But if I done it from the bottom side, my video wouldn't be as long and as interesting to the general public or Wildcat friends. Take my screwdriver, stick it underneath the side of the floorboard. If you see it, how it bulges at the bottom of the video, just take another bite. Ta-da! Okay, earlier my little nubby finger showed you this cross member right here. That one right there. The elongated hole, when facing the outside of the machine like I showed you earlier, well, it is the way it needs to go. Don't have the elongated hole in because it offsets the holes for your hanger for your rock slider. The elongated hole will line up. I don't know if you can see it or not. Just line it up where you can see the threaded hole in the top frame. Of course, the top hole is for the bolt that secures the floorboard to the frame. You'll see here in a minute there is a hole directly below that in the bottom, and that is for one of the bolts in the skid plate. It's me again. Because my production team has failed me once more, I didn't really skip a step, but I want to show you some. Well, let's face it, there is no production team. It's just me. Sadly enough, this is a one-man show. If you couldn't tell by the quality of the video and the sound here. The bracket that we had just installed on the top side of the frame, I took it back out. I want to show you how the purpose behind it and how it works. You got your cutout, the indentation here, if you will, just the opposite of this one. This is what I installed on top of the frame. I took it back out so I can show you. When it's all said and done, it'll be just like that. Your 4 bolts will go in from the bottom side, and what that does is it clamps against that tube and sandwiches in there. Again, the elongated hole on the top is for the floorboard, and the hole in the bottom is for the skid plate. Bolt, carriage bolt. If you was looking at this through the iPhone like I am, you would realize how hard this is it's like working against a mirror. Inside of that bolt right there is a square head. I call it carriage bolt, call it what you want. I'm going to hang the rock slider on the back side first. To me, because this is a one-man show, to me, it makes it easier to hold the rock slider up when you're trying to get the front of it going. This nut's got it's a locking nut. It's got that plastic or neoprene inside of it. Just finger tight. Let it hang, and then I'm gonna get on my fat boy's gonna get on its back, and I'll show you how to put the bolts through the bottom side. Alrighty, it looks like the lighting crew is spot on this time, according to the iPhone. I've already got my rock slider semi-attached to the back side, and as I mentioned earlier, just because I think it's easier when you're laying on your back. At this point, I'm going to raise the rock slider up. It's like butter. There's that hole I talked about earlier, opposite of the top side hole. This is for the skid plate. It's got 4 holes for your 4 bolts. The only thing I'm going to do is finger tighten those. It's like putting on a tire. Don't tighten them all at one time. I'm going to put the opposite sides on, let it hang. I'm going to break away. Break away. That's video talk when you're in the profession such as I am. Keep trying, you'll get like me one of these days. Alright, there's 3 of the 4. I'm gonna break away, lock these babies down, hunt up my 4th bolt first. Lock these babies down and we'll come back and take another look at it. It's me again. You can see now I've got all 4 of my bolts in. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. I learned that from my son. I was actually missing a bolt. I won't mention any names who has misplaced it. So I had to borrow one from the other side. Just gotta lock it down. Well, I'm the one that misplaced it. I'll take the fall for it, which is kind of common in my world. Lock these down, and the next step I'm going to do is step back to the back and tighten up that carriage bolt that I used in the hanger in the rear of the rock slider. It's me again. The only thing left to do on the actual rock slider is to tighten up the carriage bolt that we installed earlier loosely for the rear of the rock slider. Don't forget, this is a carriage bolt. It's got the square shoulder on it. Make sure it's seated in the slot. Otherwise, it'll give you a false reading, a false positive, I guess. My shoulder is sitting down in the slot good. Tighten them down. Don't forget, this has got the lock nut. It's got the plastic or the neoprene inserts for the threads. Lock her down, and unless I've missed something, that's pretty much it. It's me again. Okay, I've gone to the other side of my trail. My rock sliders are on. I had to move back to this side because of the lighting. My high dollar production facility lacks a little bit, needless to say. I think it's cool looking. Very easy to operate. It took me longer to get my iPhone synced to my GoPro than it did to put the rock sliders on. Cool beans. I'm going to step away and see how long it's going to take me to condense this 30-minute video down to about 8. The next thing I'll do, maybe start today if time permits, and if my boss or wife gives me the time, I may start on my winch. Obviously I won't get that done today, but when I do, I'll be sure to put it out there. For right now, I'm gonna get out here. It's me again. I'll talk to you later. Thanks.